Hey, all right. We got some volume coming out of my iPad, which should not be the case. Very good. So here we are live, and I'm making sure that this time it's going to be a little bit different. So, as much as a lot of you who might be watching me on Facebook know that I've been doing a lot of different tests and stuff like that, this time I'm going live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. So, it's my first time going live on LinkedIn. And I'm hoping that it's going to be a good experience and that we get some great comments and things of that nature. So, what's happening and why am I doing this? Well, this is going to begin a series of content where I'm going to be showing off some of the tools, a lot of the tools that I'll be offering at the website Live Streaming Master, hence the name here. So, Live Stream Master is a premier website where I offer some of the top brands in live streaming equipment and technologies, and I'm going to be offering all that technology to all of you content creators. Now, on LinkedIn, a lot of the followers that I have are creators and filmmakers and TV series guys and basically podcasters and all that type of stuff. So, being creative and being able to offer creativity, tools for creativity is primarily what I'm looking to do. And since I have now been offering some of the best tools available from vMix to YoloLiv to Magewell to Panasonic to basically KiloView, I mean, some of the greatest technologies out there, PTZ Optics. I mean, I can go on with the brands, Canon, JVC. I mean, now they're just coming out. So, not finished building the studio, but I am here in my home and still have all the tools available that I need to be able to go live with you guys and see what you guys might be interested in. So I'm going to show off some technology, and then we're going to get into the possibilities of having a Q&A if there's enough of an audience this time. Since I did not announce that I was going to go live, I don't expect a lot of people popping up anytime soon, but you never know. So this is our premiere video launch. Now, I may do another version of this video, but if this comes out well, I'll be able to use this for our content on our website and other locations. Cool. So I'm going to make sure that I am available on all the platforms. So what I like to do first, and I'm sure you've seen lots of people do this when they go live, is make sure that I'm available and that people know that I'm live and that I can answer any questions. I see that there's a few people already in Facebook. So feel free to say hello, and I'm going to go over some of the tool sets that are available. Today, the big focus is on one of my favorite tools, which is the YoloLiv Ultra. Now, I have a big history with YoloLiv, so I have a very strong attachment to their brand. And I'm going to kind of introduce this newest product. It's been now available for a few months, but it is on sale now. And if you go to livestreammaster.com, you'll get to see the sale price that's available. So I have it here. You'll see that my hands are here. This is the product. I will show you some of the ports and stuff in a little bit later, but I'm going to start off with some basics. And I also want to make sure that I don't miss any comments. So if you have any questions off the bat, feel free to comment. I will be able to address those questions regardless of the platform that you're on. And I will be able to place them on screen so that everybody can see what the questions are. So what makes this particular product different than most any product? Now I'm using Ecamm right now. Ecamm has been updated, has a lot of great features, including now going vertical. But the YoloLiv kind of stands out even beyond something like that. A lot of the new tools that are coming out support vertical video. YoloLiv was one of the first companies to ever offer vertical at all. And what makes theirs a little bit different than all the other platforms is that the other platforms kind of have to ask permission in a different way. The YoloLiv is a unique product in that you don't even need a computer. This is it. This is the whole product. Look how small this is compared to my hands, right? And what makes it special is that that's all you need. You don't need a computer, and you're still able to do and maintain all the features that you would have on your mobile phone. So before I get into the vertical, let me just at least knock out the horizontal. You'll notice that there is a live streaming setup for horizontal, vertical, and then there's monitor mode. Now, monitor mode is great because if, let's say, you're a videographer and you're doing a, let's say, wedding, or maybe a church service, or a kid's basketball game, and you're not streaming because maybe the church or the school or whatever. Oh, I just got a warning that my phone has only a certain amount of battery life. I will take care of that shortly. So you're able to record your content multi-camera on monitor mode and still take advantage of a lot of the key features that are in there, including the ability, one of the features on the Ultra, to be able to record every video source independently. Now, there's limitations. For example, you can't record all that in 4K, but you can record it in high def. So you can record 4 sources independently, and you can even record the program mode, meaning if you're camera switching, it'll record all the switching and all the graphics and all those layers if you so choose. What's nice about recording ISO is that you can record every individual camera without the graphics. So what that means is that you can take that video, the raw video, re-edit the entire show. And you can even use those videos for the purposes of social media, clips, and so on. Let's say I'm interviewing a guest, and you've seen a lot of my posts of me doing guests, and we repurpose some of the content to be able to put on social media vertically, even though we record it horizontally. So, having the raw video allows you to get really flexible without the on-screen graphics that you normally would do in a live show. So that's one of the cool features built into this. So I'm going to go into live streaming mode, and you'll see that I've done a few different broadcasts. Now, you cannot preview any of these former broadcasts, but it gives you an idea of what you're capable of doing. When you buy the product, you will have to sign up to YoloLiv. It is free, and I'm going to take a little sip here. It's free. It allows you to do basically a number of different things. If you have multiple YoloBox devices, you can actually use those as satellite boxes, meaning that let's say I am here in New York, but we have, let's say, a reporter live at NAB. They can have, let's say, a YoloBox Mini, and I can tap into their box and they can show a multi-camera production of what's going on in the show over there as I'm reporting live here in New York. So that allows you to feel like a news broadcaster and do a lot of different unique stuff. But that is another feature. So you want to go and press plus. I'm going to just type test. And for those of you that may have Androids, you'll see that the keyboard is familiar. It is based on an Android infrastructure in terms of the back end technology. You can also schedule your live streams as well. So I'm going to hit create. And that creates a box, and you'll see it says open resume. So I'm going to tap into that, and you'll see that I have a little graphic there. I do not have any cameras attached right now, but let's just assume I'll take an old video that I may have done, and I'll have that play in the background. So you'll see this camera now is a video file, but it can act as a camera. So there's my camera. You can see that there's already some graphics there. On the bottom tabs here, you have a number of different features. Here on layers, you have the ability of putting graphics on screen, and you'll see as I turn them on, they appear graphically on the main preview. This preview is live, which means if you tap onto it, that's what the world sees. You also have clocks. You can do your branding logos. So that's up here on the top. There's even a replay option. The replay option allows you to basically do an instant replay of, let's say, a gaming situation, like if you're recording sports and things of that nature. More graphics. You can even have scrolling text at the bottom or other layers that you may so choose. Now you can add lower thirds, graphic overlays that you can create in Photoshop or Canva or Keynote, lots of different options. Titles, so I'll just give you a preview of that. And you can custom write whatever is on these titles. You can have web URL overlays, so those who do sports, you'll have an idea of what that is about. And then social media overlays, in case you want to announce to the world what kind of social media they can find you in. All right, very good. So the next layer is where you want to stream to. Now, the first tab, I skipped over it because you do have to pay a fee for that, and that's for bonding. So if you notice in my description, I do write out that it has Wi-Fi, it has Ethernet, and it has the support for a SIM card. You can also add with the USB ports on the device a USB modem and bond within all the different options, combine it together to give you a premium internet connection. Here you can see all the different options of where you can stream to. So that includes up to 3 free platforms, meaning you can do kind of like what I'm doing now, which is Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and so on, not the vertical videos. Over here on the fourth tab is for guests. So you can invite guests. They can be out of town. And long story short, you can have up to 5 out-of-town guests. Maybe you're doing a podcast and you can have them all lined up. You can have up to 2 of your guests on camera, or 3, depending on how you handle your camera work. And they can be on camera simultaneously. Everybody can hear them and they can see everything that's happening on the show on their end. They can join with a browser or with a cell phone. Here is your audio mixer. So multiple cameras may include multiple audio systems. You can have professional mics plugged into multiple cameras. You can control the volumes on all these cameras. There is a headphone jack, so you can preview the audio of all those cameras. So that's important. You basically have a professional audio mixer on screen. Now, I say professional with a grain of salt. Obviously, you can't make adjustments in terms of audio quality or bass and treble and that type of stuff. There's no equalization, but there is some options for delay in case you have, let's say, a wireless microphone or some other device and the camera and the microphone don't line up because maybe you're using a mixer separate from the cameras themselves. So plenty of options on there. There's even program audio control for your headphones so you can hear your audio preview. Now over here you have your sports tab. They have done major updates on this graphically, change of colors, putting logos, all that type of stuff. A lot of fun capabilities and features. I'm not going to go deep into that because most of my customer base has been more podcasters, live streamers, and a variety of other content creators. So that's just food for thought. Now, this next icon is kind of new for me, but it does control the replay. They've added extra features to the replay. If you do have the Ultra, I highly suggest you practice with it to make sure that it's doing the things that you want it to do. Now, one thing I didn't mention on your graphic overlays, the timer. Now, there's a reason I'm bringing up the timer. One of the key features I think they added that was great. You have control over your timer, such as the design, the colors, the font, but you can also add, if I remember correctly, background music. And so you can basically put on the SD card an MP3 file that could be your background music for your device as you're going on the countdown. You don't want really to have a silent countdown. So instead of using a mixer where you can maybe have to hook up some kind of a musical feature on it, that's now built into the YOLO. Just wanted to bring that up. I don't know why, but I thought that was kind of important. Apparently, you can also move your icons around, which I accidentally just did. You also have automatic switching. So if you're a solo creator and you are doing a church service or whatever other product video that you're trying to do, having the ability for a cameraman switching, or not a cameraman, a producer switching the cameras for you, this allows you to switch the sources that you choose. So you can turn that on. You can basically choose the sources that you want. I only have one camera source, so it's not going to let me do a lot. You have the image and you have the local video. You choose those, and then you go back out. And then you can actually set up timers as to what you want to switch, how, and when. So very cool, very powerful. I do suggest that you practice, because sometimes you may not like the way it's timed, and you can do some random things in there too. So especially if you have multi-cameras, like, you can go nuts with this. It has 4 HDMI ports, which means you can have up to 4 cameras, or maybe even 3 cameras and a computer input, or PTZ cameras. There's lots of options. Plus, you have NDI, so that also can be a computer input on the network. You can do a lot of different things. So really, you can have a lot of fun with that. Now, when you're going live, just like I can do here on Ecamm, there's going to be people making comments, and you're going to be in a lot of platforms that are supported here on the YoloBox. So YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, the comments will show up automatically, and you can then highlight those just like I could here. Here's your recording features. This is where it gets really beautiful, where you can record 1080. You can have each individual camera. Of course, I don't have any cameras attached, so it's not showing me any check marks there. And you can choose the bit rate that you want to record that in, as well as later you can control how you want your bit rate to be in terms of compression when you're streaming out on the internet. So you have H.264, but if you also are working with maybe YouTube, it should support H.265 as well. You can have recording limits, meaning you can record 60 minutes straight, or you can control it to be continuous. There's also 10-minute and 20-minute. Why? Well, let's just say you're recording and there's a power surge, or there's a system issue, or the internet goes down, or something goes wrong. And that's always a possibility in streaming. Well, do you want to lose your entire video file? Or perhaps you can pick up where you left off and just edit it in. Well, here, if it records in 10-minute increments, each video file, which is 10 minutes long each, can be thrown on a timeline on Final Cut or Premiere, and it'll just be fluent. You will never notice the cuts. But like I said, if it crashed and you lost a chunk of video, at least you've kept a good amount of the video intact. So that's why they have these continuous options and recording limits options. Then, of course, there's the wonderful settings menu. In the settings menu, there's a lot of cool features. For example, I can have NDI out. So what's that going to let me do? Well, let's just see. So let me go into this camera mode, and let's see if it pops up for me. Okay, here we are. So here is my NDI out. Now I'm going to switch, and it's pretty instant. I can switch between the camera sources, and this is wirelessly connected to Ecamm through NDI. So I think that's very cool, very powerful, and it supports it. So if you're using Ecamm, but you want to have cameras coming in wirelessly through the network, of course, I'm probably not going to recommend that off the top, but it is an option. And if you know what you're doing, you should take that option. Okay, so other things you can do. So let me show you. Let's see, video out settings. We're going to do a program out. So in theory, if this is working correctly, no, it does not show that. USB-C. Yeah. All right, so I don't have you hooked up in that way. So I'm going to show you this screen instead. So Here you have video out. So here's NDI out, which is only going to show you the program, which is this preview here. This here is an image, but if it's a PDF file, you'll see here that you're able to go through the slides and show an entire PowerPoint presentation from an internal file instead of having a laptop hooked up and using the laptop to do the PowerPoint. Now, it doesn't do, of course, animations and stuff. It's literally from PDF files or multiple image files. So here you have the ability to select how you want to switch between cameras, whether you double tap or single tap. Local video switching, you have options there in case you're playing a video like this video here and how you want that video to respond when you go back to it. Here you can have these videos either loop or stop at the last frame. Here's your video out settings. So program out, which basically would show this interface if you have this hooked up to USB. So this has a USB out, meaning if you have USB-C out, it will show whatever is here or the program, and you can have it plugged into your laptop through USB, and the USB will show up as a webcam, which means you can instantly, let's say in Ecamm, have this become your multi-camera switcher inside of Ecamm and still use all the tools that Ecamm has, or OBS, or TriCaster, or whatever system you're using, Zoom, for example, and you're able to do all that together. You can also flip horizontally, whatever the output feed is, and you have choices in terms of your frame rate. Stream encoding settings. Here's where you can change the bit rate of what you're streaming out. You also have H.265 so that it actually uses less video file streaming, meaning the pipe is going to be much quicker and output quality using less data rate, simply put. So normally when you're streaming a high definition file, you want anywhere between 6 to 10 megabits per second. But if you're doing 4K, you normally need more if you're doing H.264. But if you do H.265, you can probably stay within 10 to 12 megabits per second instead of needing close to 20 as you normally would. So of course your frame rate, and then you have your constant bit rate, constant quality, and variable bit rate. Now another feature that they just added is the ability to control your camera switching with an Android device. Basically you turn on your browser, you go to this IP address, there's an app that you download, so it's not by the browser, it's actually through the app, and you can download that on your Android. And you'll be able to see most of this interface and switch cameras and activate features and graphics accordingly. So that is pretty much the quick version of everything this does, with the exception of the hardware itself. Now over here, let me go back. On this area, this is all your cameras. And I'm going to raise this a little bit so that, of course, nothing's covering. You can add a video source. So that could be another camera, that could be an NDI source, and you'll see the options here. Of course, I don't have any HDMI cameras plugged in. I don't have any USB cameras plugged in. There's even a USB C support. And then you can have 2 video files from your memory card, a PDF file, and if you have another YoloBox, it can also show up as a live stream here. So what does that mean? If I have a YoloBox in Texas and I'm here in New York and we're on the same account, remember I mentioned you can have an account, you have to log into an account on the YoloBox. Well, this is one of the reasons why. If you have multiple boxes like this, you can have reporters, quote unquote, live in Texas, in Florida, in California. Let's say there's some crazy international or national activity that's happening. And you can tap into any of those YoloBoxes through these live streams. And the producer on that side can basically do a presentation of their own with graphics and lower thirds and multiple cameras stream to you as you're streaming to your page. So that's very, very powerful. The new features is NDI support, SRT support, so that's powerful. And then there's different ways of laying out your cameras. So for example, you can have 1 and 2 side by side, and then you can have control over your background and what you see on these areas. So here you can scale and change the borders and things of that nature. So that pretty much kind of sums it up. You have great hardware. I'm going to show you some of that hardware here. So on the top, you have 4 HDMIs. Here's an HDMI out, which is fantastic because you can then hook it up to a monitor or an output to, let's say, your professional tools, maybe for a church or a television broadcast. You got your Ethernet, you got multiple USBs. On the bottom, you have your audio. You can see that there's a line in and a mic in. The line in could be your audio mixer. You can see that you can put this on a tripod or a different type of mount. Here's your SIM card slot and your SD card. Now, the USBs will also support external hard drives for recording, and in the menu, it can give you the option to record. All right. So I hope that kind of sums up the opportunities that you can have on a box like the Ultra. What's really powerful about the Ultra is its capability of offering you all that tool set with no computer and no monthly subscription. So if you're a person who's already using, let's say, vMix or StreamYard or countless of other services, once you have this box, that box, you don't have to pay anything else. You'll notice also, I had no cables attached, including power. It has its own battery power. It's not an external removable battery. Plus, you can also use a USB-C to add more power. So if you have one of those portable power bricks, you can continuously keep it powered and moving along. So that's why it's one of my favorite devices. It supports and does almost everything I could possibly need portably. It is so thin, as you saw. I put it in my backpack with a couple of portable cameras. I use the Pocket 3, which is what I was using to show you the YoloBox. So that's my Pocket 3 camera. Very small, easy to pack in a bag. I also have the Mevo cameras, and the Mevo cameras is from Logitech. So those fit very comfortably in a small bag. In fact, the bag I have here, this is it. Everything fits in this bag. You can see the Mevo camera right here. There it is. And this has its own battery. Video cameras, DSLR cameras, professional cameras. You can have all sorts of cameras, and especially with the support for NDI, a lot of cameras, you basically have a lot of flexibility, provided you have a portable network if you're doing it in a cafe and stuff like that. So I hope you enjoyed this little presentation. I didn't get any comments, but if you're here, feel free to leave comments. I'm more than happy to address them accordingly. And I hope the platforms that I stream to got a nice clean feed. And I will be showing more products soon at livestreamingmaster.com. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.